Hi everybody, Noah the Peaceful Wanderer here. Today I'm going to take you on one of my little stretching journeys here to teach you about pain and fear and how I've been able to release these two things throughout my body to reach new potentials in stretching and also in my personal life, in my own dealings with myself and interactions with others, not having so much fear and so much pain throughout the day and those different effects that I've had on my body. You know, when the body is in a state of relaxation and not tension, then all of a sudden you start to function a little bit better. So that's what I want to show you today. I want to show you how my stretching, I don't really even call it stretching, it's more of releasing, because we're releasing the hold that the mind has put on you for so long. And once the mind starts to trust you, meaning, we have in us, we have our ego, our part that tells us, we talk to ourselves and tell us we're going to do this, and we tell ourselves we're going to do that, and we're going to start a diet today, and we're going to do stretching today, or whatever it is. There's another part of the mind that isn't able to communicate with words. Okay, and that part of the mind is the one we never really communicate with. So it's always screaming out to us with different pains and different emotions. Feeling of sadness, guilt, all these different feelings that we get in our body. That's that side of the brain that can't communicate with words, trying to tell us something. And what it's trying to tell us is, hey, I'm all alone over here. I need some help, and I don't know how to deal with these things. And so what I learned was, because I used to stretch a lot, and because I play a lot of golf, and so stretching was always important when I was playing professionally, to have my body as loose as possible so I could be flexible and not be sore. But it didn't matter. However much I stretched, I still would be sore. I mean, just to be in this position right here with my legs straight would be agonizing pain. Couldn't do it, even from a young age. And so I started wondering, with the small results that I was seeing over months, periods of months, just a little bit of, more flexibility. I said, I don't know if this is really working. And then I started to get some injuries because I was feeling like being a little overflexed, where I felt like, oh my God, I've moved this much. It was leaving me susceptible to injuries. And I started questioning all that, saying, I don't think I should be in pain. If you do any research on what I teach in my golf and in life, it's all about not suffering. It's all about finding that effortless flow to life. And so this struggle with stretching really led me to start questioning whether or not this was the approach that we should be taking. Because after just a little bit of research, you find that the muscle that you're stretching, or the tendon, already has all that flexibility. Like, I didn't stretch anything to be able to straighten my leg. All that's happening is the mind. When you're stiff and it won't go down and it's tight, that's the mind, that part that doesn't communicate through words, like the ego. That's the mind telling you, stop, this is scaring me, I don't want to do this. And so what I found is, if I speak outwardly, I know it sounds a little crazy, but follow me on this. If I speak outwardly to that side of the mind, as if when it starts, it's a little child because it hasn't had anyone to talk to. So if you start with it as like a small child and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to stop pushing on you and trying to stretch you, but instead I'm going to talk to you about why you're so tight. And I'm going to start probing and understanding why you're afraid to go down, because we have the ability. It's not the ability that's not there. It's that you're so tight and frightened that you won't let us go there. And so traditional stretching teaches us every day you just try a little more, and you basically over time convince the brain to let go. But it's through this pull and push and like struggle that you're having this happen. And I think that's where the injuries come from, because I've been stretching like this for a couple of weeks now, and I feel more in control, not less. That's one of the things with stretching, right? You start reaching new limits and then you become susceptible to more movements, which means injury. But I think that if it's done where the mind lets go willingly, then it gains all this new perspective and it wants to be there. I think the injuries, now this is just speculation, but I think the injuries come when you're forcing and forcing and forcing. It's the brain's way of saying, I told you I don't want to do this. Now I'm going to injure us because I don't want to be here. These positions are uncomfortable. And so I think anytime we achieve anything through force, we're kind of taking the wrong approach to learning. And that's really what we're doing here. We're teaching that side of the mind, we're teaching it to learn. And once it learns, and I'll show you how I go through this, once it learns, then it just lets go naturally. And it's such a different feeling to be stretching where there's zero pain. So what I do is I get to the point, and I'll start walking you through this. I'll get to the point where I feel a little bit of tension, where the muscle is a little tight. No pain, just you could feel the tension. And once I get there, I begin talking out loud to that side of the brain. I found if you don't talk out loud to it, there's a strange thing that happens with the mind. It's just better. So find yourself a nice quiet spot, speak to the mind in that gentle way. I find it's also better to be alone. That's why I'm making the video, so you can do it at home by yourself. You're unloading, and you're trying to find where the pain is coming from. You're going to see that it's not just physical pain. The body stores emotional traumas and past events that are very stressful to that side of the mind. It stores it in different parts of the body. So you're going to find certain stretches are really difficult for you, and other ones are easy. Well, that's because your body is holding that stress in that one part of the body. And so when we find that, we have to spend a lot of time communicating with the mind on where that area is and why it's there, and then release it. It could be something very traumatic that you don't want to share openly. So a classroom type setting isn't necessarily the best situation. But after just a few sessions of doing this, the results were mind-boggling to me. I've got some older video I could show you of where my flexibility was zero, and now it blows my mind. Like, I couldn't do this. I couldn't just straighten my leg like that. It would be so painful, and you can see there's literally no tension there. And as I've been working, I hold all my stress in the hamstrings. That's where all of my pain and suffering comes from. So it's been slowly over the last 2 weeks getting almost to where it's soft now. When it started, it was so tight, it was ready for injury. But now it's getting to a point where it's very relaxed. All right, so I like to start, let's dive right in. I like to start where, through a little bit of research. I don't want to dive too deep because I don't want to read too much on, I don't want to sway my natural experience of what's going on with this. I don't want to look too deeply into things in this realm because I am unlocking a lot of things that can come naturally, as opposed to if you start reading about it, you might try to force it. So it's just an experiment. We're just learning about ourselves. It's not going to hurt anybody. You'll see I'm not in any injury, and we're never going to push to where there's pain. So you're not going to go any further than you're comfortable with. So I'd just like to say that right there. If you feel pain, stop. You're not doing this correctly. But this whole system in the body that we're talking about, this other side of the mind, in this realm of stretching and breathing and the heart rate and these different things, it's the, what is it? Not the philosophical, well, I'll insert the word. It's the the sympathetic nervous system. That's what we're dealing with here. So we have to communicate with it. And so what I like to do is sympathetic is your skin, it's your heart rate, it's your muscle flexing. A lot of things we take for granted. So we just let them happen. But the problem is they can get out of whack. And then we don't know how to communicate with it. And it scares the heck out of us, right? Like imagine anxiety where your heart starts racing. That's the sympathetic nervous system kicking in, right? Well, if we have no dialogue with that and it's scaring us and we don't know how to say, hey, buddy, calm down. It's going to be okay. Well, then we run with that and it becomes a problem day after day after day, where instead we're creating a relationship with it long before those things come into effect. So that way, if anything does come, a traumatic experience, we know how to deal with it. We have this other side of us that we talk to. And there are a lot of studies that have shown that talking to the body in all these different ways promotes all kinds of different changes. Just speaking with your body and giving it positive feedback is hugely beneficial to the body and the brain. So I want to start with the skin. The skin is our first connection. So I start by just kind of rubbing the skin and being grateful to that part of the brain, the sympathetic nervous system, and just kind of talking to it and thanking it and saying, man, just look how beautiful you are. You're healthy, you're happy. And does that feel good? How does that feel? Does that feel nice and soft? Very proud of you. And I kind of isolate and I kind of see that side of the brain as another person, which my ego is going to communicate with. Now, in all reality, we're the same person, but we're just going to communicate with that side because it has no one to talk to all the time. We never give it any acknowledgement. So, for the first time in its life, it's going to have our acknowledgement. And I think you'll see that's really, really beneficial. It's there for you. And that's what's so amazing about stretching this way, is because what happens is we're going to communicate with that side. When we get to that tension point, we're going to say to that side of the mind, hey, mind, do you see you're tight? See what's happening here? Do you know that you could let that go? That struggle that you feel, you can let that go because I'm no longer pulling on it. So now it's all in your hands. And what you'll see is that all of a sudden you'll feel that muscle, when the mind is ready, when it trusts you, will just let go. And then you'll be here, and all of a sudden you'll be able to drop. And you'll be like, this is the craziest thing. My brain, my mind is listening. It's hearing me. It can't communicate with words, but it's listening to what I'm saying, and it's communicating by letting go. And that's going to blow your mind. And you're going to see that fear and anxiety and stress and pain can all be let go of once you stop fighting the mind that's in control of that. You have to give back the power to the mind and teach it how to work properly. So let's get right in. As I said, I thank the skin. I'll feel it, be very comfortable with it. And I like to start with the neck, because the neck is where a lot of tension occurs, right? So what I'll do is I'll just drop the neck. And as soon as you feel any kind of pain, see, I've gotten to the point now where I don't feel any pain. But if you feel some pain, a little tension, just stop in that spot. Like mine will drop. Okay, so I don't feel any tension there. But if you do, if you get to a point where you feel tension, you'll find a spot. Maybe it's frontward, maybe it's in the back. I can feel a little bit on my right side of the top. So I'll begin to communicate. Oh, see, let go immediately. Let me find a better spot. Okay, so I feel a little tension right in here. So we're not going to be tight. We're just going to stay right there with the tension. It's that light little tension. And I'm going to begin talking to my mind. I treat it as a small child, right? Because it's in the beginning processes of learning. So mine's a little more developed than yours. It's only been a few weeks, but in the beginning, hi, little guy. You can be a guy, girl, gender neutral here. But, find your person. I call it a little guy, hey, buddy. And I say, you feel that tension, right? So we're holding on to something. What are you holding on to? Are you just afraid? What is fear? Fear is the unknown, right? We're afraid of the unknown. So we want to hold on to what we know, and that known is the tension. We know about that. You've been having that your whole life. The unknown is scary, isn't it? To a little guy like you, it's very scary. Well, I'll tell you, if you were to let go of that fear, I can tell you right now, the unknown is not scary. You know how? Because the unknown it has no fear. It has no pain. It has no suffering because it's unknown. This, what we're in now, the known is painful. You have all that stress, all that stuff you hold on to every day. See, I've let go. I'm not trying to force you to stretch it anymore. I'm leaving it all up to you. Any moment you can just let go. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, there's no pain there, is there? See, that's the unknown. That's the part of the brain that just moves effortlessly. Yeah. Okay. That's good. How's this flexibility? Oh, see, this is a little tight right here now compared to that side, right? You feel that? So is there something that's bothering you, or are you still just afraid? It's not, yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of, is there? Look at that. Okay, I still feel like you're holding a little bit. I'm just going to wait for you. I'm never going to force you to stretch. I want you to feel that little stretch and realize that at any moment you can be free. What does freedom mean? Freedom to me means being able to move in all directions. So right now, you're holding on tightly. You're not free. Can we do anything great when we're tight and restricted? Don't we need to be free to really, yeah, we need to be free to really move. Look at that. See, that's not scary, is it? The unknown isn't frightening. It's the known that's frightening. We know about fear, pain. Yeah, that was a deep stretch. Very good. Very good. Very proud of you. Look at that movement. And, gently start to move it. See what it can do. Find those spots that might be tight. But see, my neck is pretty loose. There's not much there. My mind is becoming very comfortable. This movement, these different flexions. It feels nice, doesn't it? Yeah, Mr. Brain. Very nice little guy. That feels good. Really move around. Okay, let's get into another position. Let's get on our knees. I always like this one. I used to hold so much tension in this position. And then from here, we just clasp our hands behind our back and just pull back. And I used to feel so much tension here, but now my body has just released it all. I feel zero stretch now. I'm at full maximum capacity here. There's just complete movement, freedom of movement. I can move back, I can move forward. You'll notice there's no heavy breathing. There's nothing. Just total relaxation in the body. Another great stretch is when we get on our hands and knees here, toes together in the back, and we just sit. We just fall into this sit position. And what you'll notice here is that the hips are usually very tight. But all you want to do is you want to feel the body sink into this position. So again, if you feel any tightness here, just get to where the tightness is just a little bit and begin speaking. Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, I feel that. I feel that little tension in the left hip. What are you holding on to? And sometimes when you ask that question, what are you holding on to? You'll see an image of some pain, some trauma from your life. And with that pain, you need to talk to them about it and say, it's okay. I know that was painful. I know that experience was terrible and you're holding on to it. But look what happened when you let go. You let go in the neck and look how it just fell right over. It's the same thing here. If you're holding some trauma, just let it go. Go ahead, man. I'm not going to fight you. I don't want to hold on to it. So I'm letting go. The ego's letting go. Can you let go? And then you'll feel just slowly start to release it. And when it releases that tension wherever it was in the hip. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. What's holding you back? Why can't you let go? Why do you have this pain? What are you holding on to? Those are very important questions to ask the side of the mind that hasn't had anyone to communicate with, hasn't had anyone to teach it. So you're teaching the mind how to let go of fear and trauma and all those different things. That's very important for the brain to let go of those things, because the more it holds on to it, the more dysfunction that the body creates. So right now I can just feel, just by talking to the mind like this and teaching it, that I'm just getting deeper and deeper in this stretch. And I have full flexibility. There's no pain. There's no stretch like I'm bouncing. There's nothing. There's no resistance. Just the body is in complete surrender to this moment. And that doesn't mean that there's not tightness other places, but in this position right now, I'm completely relaxed. And it's just beautiful just sitting there. Okay, once we've reached that, it's time to progress into the next movement so we can see if there's any tension there. Nice one to do is to shuffle your feet back and then just do a full reach out stretch and let the shoulders just drop right into the floor. And see, the more those shoulders just drop, if there's true relaxation, you'll just keep falling. You'll just keep like you're falling through the floor. Okay, it's all right. Yeah, there is no tension, is there? You've really surrendered. Really feel relaxed right there. That's good. See, it's not so scary when you don't have the known. It's better, isn't it? It gives us more freedom to move like this.
more ability to create new things, really see what we're capable of. We don't want to be limited in life. We want to be totally flexible in our mind and in our body, in everything we do. Yeah, that's beautiful. Very good job. That's it. Just keep letting go. I feel a little tension there. Just let that relax. Let that relax. That's it. I'm not going to push. You're going to tell me when it's time by letting it relax. I won't progress 1 inch if you don't tell me. If you don't show me that you're free. There you go. See, look. That's beautiful. All right. Next up is I like to go on my back because my hamstrings are tight, and that's where I hold. Once you find where it is, you really want to attack those spots. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get on our back, and we're just going to hold our legs. This position is really good for releasing the hips and the lower back. And as soon as you feel any tension, just sink into it and talk to that side of the mind. Good. Very good. See, I'm not feeling much today. My mind is pretty relaxed. So we have to go to those. Oh, see now as I'm sitting here, I feel it in the left, that left flexor a little bit, hip flexor. So we're going to talk about it. Why are you holding pain there? What's the problem? Why can't you relax? What is it? Oh yeah, I remember that. Okay. Well, that's a long time to be carrying something like that around. That wasn't even that big of a deal, but yeah, it was traumatic when you're that little of a kid. Yeah, I get it. Disturbing. But you know, our memories aren't really what happened that day. Kind of how we remember it. And when we're a little kid, we remember things maybe a little different than they actually happened. Yeah, you see that, right? So what's the point of carrying that around? It's not helping us in life. It's only frightening us, only scaring us. We don't need to be scared. Just let go of it. Go of that pain. See if by letting go of that pain, the pain in the body stops. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, it's only pain we feel mentally projecting to our body physically. So just let it go. Yeah, there's no reason for it. That's it, you let it go. Yeah, I feel you've been holding that for a while. God, that's relaxing. That's nice. Good job, little guy. Good job, brain. Really nice. All right, now this is a good stretch right here. You move the left leg out, you hook the right leg over, and you try pulling this knee to this shoulder. And what you'll find is, usually in most people, there's a big stretch that runs right down their hamstring into their butt. But I'll tell you, once I started letting go, there's just so much movement there where there's nothing. Like I can't go any further. It's not that there's pain. There's just no more movement in the hip. It's literally it just keeps going. There's no pain anymore. So that's remarkable. I could never do that before. And then, you can test out the other side, see how that one is, if it's equally flexible. See, I guarantee you, a lot of people who are doing this for the first time, they'll be shocked at this movement. And this only took 2 weeks. It was just by releasing all those different things like I just released a second ago. Just keep letting go, right? And so then, here, we'll do this. We'll lay down and we'll drop our legs to each side. And I used to feel tremendous pain in my low back in these situations. And see, right now, there's just a little tinge there. So we're just going to wait right there. Not agonizing pain, nothing like that. We don't want to suffer. We just want to sit there and let the brain feel it so it can show us what it's holding on to. See, already, once it saw it, it just let it go. It already released it. Is there anything there, my friend? Is there anything you feel? Anything that's holding you back in that position? No? Okay. You just had a little residual fear from so many years of holding there. Yeah, that's good. That's great flexibility now. That really just drops out. There's no resistance. no pain. That's wonderful. Okay, and then we'll sit up and we'll do a little side to side, about shoulder width apart, and just let the legs drop. See, this used to be agonizing on my hips, but no longer, just drops. And I'm really just kind of exploring my body right now to see where there might be some pain, some fear. Because if we have any, well, then we're struggling, right? Then we're in resistance inside the body. So I feel pretty good on those. Let's do the hamstrings now, which are my biggest struggler, right? So we'll get here and we'll sit in this nice position right here. This was never a problem for me, this position, but these next positions were a problem for sure. So let's see what happens. Okay, we go up. Yeah, and you see there's tension right there. And there's tension there. So now I'm going to really get into a conversation with those hamstrings and that part of the body. And you've been carrying this pain here for so long. This is like weeks now, just holding that tension. You can feel it. There's no pain, but they're just tight. You're just very tight in there. And I want you to start to try to let go. Not with me forcing you, but with you just seeing that holding on to this pain is bringing us nothing in life but more pain. We've let go in so many other areas. This final trauma, this last spot where you keep holding it, just keep letting it go day after day. It doesn't have to be let go all of it once, but continue to release it. Do you feel anything there? No? Good, that's it. Yeah, now we feel it back. So just let that go. Let whatever resistance you're feeling, realize that it's not going to bring us any joy in life to have this physical pain or this resistance to ourselves. We need to let go so we can be free and reach our full potential. You have so much more. Just look at what you've done with those few little stretches. The first part. Now you got this one, but you have to just let go of that pain. What is it? Talk to me about it. Okay, I see that. But you need to let that go because that's done. Bringing the past into the present just brings us more fear and pain. Let go of it. Keep the good and let go of the bad. So if you have something that's bothering you, let it go each day. Because bringing something that bothers us only creates agitation. It doesn't let us function at a high level. Yeah, see all that release? That's nice. Good. Good. That means freedom. That means we're letting go of that pain, that suffering. We're letting that go from our being. And that's not going to cause any dysfunction. That's going to cause function because now, look, now we're getting movement in our body. Yeah, we're getting that freedom back. Look at that. Couldn't do that 5 minutes ago, could you? But that's great. You got more. I can feel you're still a little tense in there. It's okay. I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to wait for you to show us what you can do. Just allow the mind to see what it is. What is it? Oh, you're having to look a little bit now. It's not right at the top, is it? It's more like now it's just habit. Just holding on. That's it. Just keep letting go. That's great movement, great progress. Very impressive. Very impressive. I think you're an amazing, amazing part of my mind. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. God, that's beautiful. Want to try it again? We'll see what your limitations are. See if you're still holding on. Yeah, you feel that little tension, don't you? There should be no tension whatsoever. So let's let that go. Let's be free in our movements. I know it's frightening to let go, but if we let go, then we open up a whole new world, a whole new area of being, and then maybe we can accomplish things we never even dreamed of before. So how about that, huh? How about that flexibility? That's pretty amazing. Okay. Our next stretch that I find I had a lot of resistance was the frog. Okay, and so the frog, I just spread my legs as far as possible, almost kind of like doing a split, and just sitting into that. And I guarantee you that's going to be painful to a lot of people. But I'll tell you what, I've gotten to the point now where it literally has no pain. I just sit here. It's incredible. Um, Once you're free from the pain, from the fear, the body lets go and it trusts, it learns that it has all of this natural flexibility. And so let's keep trying to find places in our mind that limit us. I think I showed this one on one of my videos earlier. I could feel that my mind could touch and kiss my toes, but I would only be able to get to like here. It would be so painful. And I started to talk to my mind just like this, and I could feel this tension in the left hip. And we start talking, just we have, and let's see what happens. So let's let go that left hip because I can feel you're very frightened. And we don't even have to go to our toes if we don't want to, but I want to see if you're interested. So do you want to go? Or are you saying no? I'm listening to you. And if the pain continues, then I'll take that as a no. But if you let go of that pain and you relax, then I'll say you're interested. Because I know you can't speak to me with words, but you can speak to me through my muscles and my breathing and my heart rate. I feel that tension releasing just a little bit in that hip. So maybe you're curious about doing it, but you want to see if you're in the right place. I understand. So let's see if that hip relaxes. You're the one holding that. And we just dealt with some big traumas today. So maybe there's something else that's holding you back that you still want to deal with. There's something there, or are you just afraid? Because we've learned that fear doesn't help us move. So when we're afraid, we get pain and then no flexibility. But when you let go of the pain, then we get movement and freedom. Yeah, oh, there you go. You let go of it. Good, good. That's it. Just keep letting those legs drop. That's very nice. All right, let's give it a try. Let's say, oh, I feel a tension there. Okay, let's go right to here. And let's see what happens. Yeah, you're very tight. You're very nervous for some reason. Maybe it's the camera. Maybe you're nervous about showing people what your capabilities are. It's okay. Just relax. Just let the body relax. Let the mind surrender. Go of your fear. It's not going to bring you anywhere. It's just going to bring you limitation. We know that. We've seen it in all the other parts that we've moved. That's it. That's good. Good. Just keep letting go. Should be no pain. Don't want to suffer. Look, we're not breathing heavy. We're not doing anything that's taxing you. We're trying to keep you calm so you can learn about your body. That's it. Just keep learning. Just keep getting to a place where you're comfortable, not to where you're uncomfortable. We can't grow if we're fighting ourselves. If you were in agonizing pain trying to do this, we wouldn't trust each other. We'd be fighting each other. I'm with you right now. I'm your partner. You can lean on me. You're not alone. I do hear you. I hear you in the way you speak to me through my body. That's it. Yeah, just keep going. Don't be afraid. There's no pain. There's no pain. There's just movement. And that movement comes when you're not afraid. Yeah, look. Look, you keep getting lower and lower. You love letting go of that and seeing your potential. That's it. Just keep letting go. Just keep surrendering. There's no need to rush. We have all the time in the world. It feels good, doesn't it, to be this low, this nice. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, the mind, I couldn't do that 2 weeks ago. The mind is miraculous if we'll learn to use it and learn to communicate with it. But too many of us are trapped in the cycle of listening to others or listening to the status quo instead of challenging ourselves to look in new directions. As you saw, that was a stretching exercise and technique and movement that my heart rate never got excited. I didn't have to make sure you breathe. I was breathing calmly the entire time because there was no fight against the body and the mind. They work together
they understood each other, and they learned to relax each other. And when you can train your mind to do that, you can bring this beyond just stretching. You can do this in other things in life, like relationships. When you get into a fight with your significant other or a friend or whoever, you can stop in that moment and begin talking to the mind that's losing control, the side that's the child, and say, hey, listen, little buddy, what's going on? Why are you so upset? What are you afraid of? Is this going to help us talk to this person? Is this how we want to bring ourselves into this world, with anger and hate? And if you start having that conversation with the mind will immediately learn and understand that that's not the best way for it to operate. And the whole thing will change. Your whole relationship with your mind and yourself will change. And you'll have a mind and body that you appreciate at such a higher level. And you'll be giving thanks. It'll be real thanks. You'll be grateful for what the mind and body can do. And so I hope you've enjoyed this stretching. I hope this helps you. I'd love to see some feedback if anyone's tried it. To hear other people's stories would show me that, hey, your mind works just like mine. And I think we're all very similar. I don't think anyone's really above or below anyone. I think we all have our abilities. And I think they're all pretty similar. I mean, yeah, a few people can slam dunk a basketball, but in the general realm of things, I think psychologically, we're all very similar. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next stretch. Peace.